I remember mostly, if I try and kind of dig into early memories, funerals. Being aware of death probably really shaped me as a young kid, that I was scared of a lot of stuff, that I was kind of very insular. I didn't make friends well at school. I guess in my family I was like the naughty one at home, but then the quiet one at school, because that was maybe a space where I could act out and kind of push back against stuff. I think like most people, you kind of rose tint home. We did have enough, and we had a kind of stability in the home space. Started sixth form when I finished school and did that for a few months. Dad wasn't well, mum was having to provide a lot of care there. When dad passed away, then kind of stepping up into more of a guardian, I guess, role, and much more practically involved. By then, the seeds of what would go on to be kind of my real disillusionment were kind of in place. So I think that was really kind of what eroded any sense of hope or optimism that things were going to turn out well. And what if they did turn out well? Because you're just going to die anyway. So that then provided this space just to kind of sink down into and just not face up to anything. In some ways, it's hard to remember how that period felt, but I think the greatest sense was kind of hopelessness. Look now, for it may be our last chance. The eldest is part of these walls. The youngest remembers little at all. The middle child says, all that I am is in these rooms. For me, the circumstances that led to recovery were having a basis and foundation of hope on which to move forward from. Having something to get up and do that meant something. I had a peer support worker for the kind of last leg of my journey in services. It kind of introduced a different type of support from what I've been used to. So it was much more kind of personal in the sense of he would turn up at my house, we'd kind of get the bus somewhere, go out and have lunch, and we just have kind of really what felt like normal conversations. And that when I'd walk down the street with kind of clinicians that were supporting me, I felt like this person is, like the expert and I'm the person they're taking out for the day. Like I could feel that imbalance. Whereas it felt genuinely like we're just two people. We're just two people, and everyone that sees us walking down the street, they don't know what we've been through. They just think, it's just two people hanging out. So it kind of really normalized what had felt like a distinctive experience of being in mental health services, that he just kind of really gently shared his experiences. There was obviously commonality, but there was real differences as well. So I was able to kind of really learn a lot from him. And I think then the kind of maybe the key turning point was thinking, this feels like something I could do. Losing that identity that I'd previously had and needing to regain that, need to go on that journey, meant that focusing the support that I received around who I was, what I needed, meant that it looked kind of specific and personal, and kind of really took on board what I was saying. So having someone take the time to say, who are you? What is all the luggage that you're bringing with you to this point in your life? Really meant that I felt heard, felt seen. And then in relation to kind of being strengths focused, it can be really little things sometimes. And I think I used to think it was a bit lame at the time, but my care coordinator would always kind of say, she would say things like, you're so cool. And at the time I was like, that's like something a nan would say to you. But afterwards, I think the impact that had, that this person was like, they actually kind of see something in me, and they are looking up to me, which is a rare experience to kind of have in these traditionally kind of really unbalanced services. You're able to start believing that and start to kind of build it into yourself.